Welcome students. Today's topic is fundamentals of statistics. That is the theories behind the statistical and statistical data. So basically, the statistics is backed by data, and the data are widely classified into qualitative data and quantitative data. So quantitative data means that is nominal data, which includes gender, hair color, ethnicity, etc. So the ordinal data implies the first and second, third letters, grades A, B, C, D, and economic status low, medium, etc. So on the quantitative data that includes discrete data and continuous data. So discrete data means the number of students in a class, number of students, the number of workers in a company, etc. So similarly, continuous data represents the height of a children's and the speed of a car, which will varies at each time. So it is known as the continuous data type. So primary and secondary, there are two types of data types. There is primary data type and secondary data type. So the name itself tells us that the primary and secondary. The primary means the primary is the data that collected for the first time through the personal experience or evidences, particularly for the research purpose. So it is also described as a raw data or the first-handed information. So the modes of assembling the information is costly. The data is mostly collected through observations, physical testing, mailed questionnaires, survey, personal interviews, telephonic interviews, and case studies. So the secondary data types tells us that secondary data type is a second-handed data that is already collected and recorded by some other researchers for the purpose and not for the current research purpose. So it is accessible in the form of collected data sources such as government publications, census, and internal records of organizations, books, journals, articles, etc. So this method of gathering data is more affordable and cost saving and time saving. So, however, the disadvantages of this information is assembled for some other purpose, not meant for the present research purpose. So difference between the primary and secondary data types is that primary data types are basically collected for the first time by the questionnaires or by the projectors. So if I want to do some research on something, so if I personally visit and collect the data from the society or collect data from the laboratories or something, means that is called the primary data type. So if I refer some from data from the government sources or from the records or from the articles or from other magazines, means then it is called the secondary data type. So the advantages of primary data type is it is more accurate and it will gives the exact result for our research, whereas in secondary data type, collection of data is very easy, but the data may not be accurate in many of the cases. But the primary data types are more accurate, but it is costlier and it's also not a time saving one. But the secondary data types are cheaper, also the time saving. So presentation of data, there are two types of presentation. It's graphical and numerical. So in graphical methods, bar diagram, pie charts are used to categorize the variables. For example, given that is a histogram of a graphical display of using the bars of different heights. So in a histogram, each bar of groups represents a numerical range. The taller bars represent the more data falls in the range. So the histogram displays the shape and spread of continuous spread of data around the values. So classification of data, there are four classifications. So geographical classifications, chronological classification, qualitative and quantitative. So geographical means if we separate the data on the basis of geographical location, means it is called geographical data. So for example, if we consider the peoples around Theni, peoples around Madurai, and if we separate the peoples, number of peoples based on the geographical locations, means it is called the geographical data. Chronological data, it is meant for the it means if a data is separated based on the time, it is said to be chronological data. For example, the period of it is a 2001 to 2005, 2005 to 2010, like that. For similarly for historical events, so the British period, generally we can say the British ruling in India period, First World War period, Second World War period. So the duration within that period, we can take any other data. So that classification of data from that period is said to be the chronological classification. So then we all know that the qualitative classification is like gender, color, hair, literacy, religion, etc. And the quantitative means it is like a classification based on the height, weight, incomes, marks obtained by the students, etc. So with all this collection of data, we can interrupt the data by a measure of central tendency, measure of depressions, and measure of kurtosis and skewness. So first we will see the measure of central tendencies. So in statistics, central tendency describes a summary of data sets. So moreover, the central tendency is divided into mean, median, and mode. So first one, mean. The mean represents the average of value of a data set. So there are three types of data means in this. So they are geometric mean, harmonic mean, weighted mean. So mean means it's the average. So average of data is said to be the arithmetic mean. So in that also there are three categories: geometric mean, so which is also called as a nth root of product of n numbers. So harmonic means the reciprocal of average of the reciprocals. So weighted mean represents there should be some contribution of weight to the mean values. So arithmetic mean is generally it's given by just sum of all the terms. This is a frequency, it is given as a frequency data type. So harmonic mean, so harmonic mean represents, so if you look at the formula, it represents, for example, so the terms T1, T2, T3 in the HP, if and only if 1 divided by T1, 1 divided by T2, 1 divided is an arithmetic progression. Then the harmonic mean is given by 3 divided by 1 plus T1 plus 1 plus T2 divided by plus 1 plus T3. So this is the harmonic mean formula. So geometric mean is given by, so if we consider, so x1, x2, xn are the observations of geometric means, gm equal to, so nth root of x1 into x2 up to xn. So or geometric mean is equal to x into x1 into x2 up to xn, the whole power 1 by n. So then median, so median is also said to be the middlemost value of the observed data, given data. So first of all we need to arrange the data once in ascending order or descending order. Then we will check the number of data collected. So whether the number of data collected is an even number, or number of data collected is an odd number. So if it is the odd number, we have no the doubt the middlemost term is said to be the median of this observation. And if the collected data are like odd number, that is, so if I collected a data, if I collected 9 data means it is a odd number, so we can say that the number fifth observed data is the middle value and it is the median value. So suppose I collected 10 observation, then it is a even number, so we can find the middlemost two variables, that is 5 and 6, and taking 5 and 6 into the account and divided by 2, and we will get a number that is said to be the median for the even number case. So then for the mode represents the frequency of occurring the variables, that is, so most repeated values in observation is said to be the mode. So if we have the categorical data, the mode is the best choice for the central tendency. So if most repeated means if the value is repeated more than once means, so the mean will be more and more relative to the repeated values. So that's why they are saying that in categorical data, the central tendency, the mode is most approachable one. This is a basic outline for the statistical data on the theoretical basis. Thank you, students.